Alright, Path of Exile 2. Kinda scuffed if you're asking me, a little bit scuffed. So I went into this thing pretty blind. So all of this stuff I didn't really understand. I was just going through, hitting maps. I hit a tier 1 and I was like, alright, I could do that. I'd go a little higher. I can do tier 2, tier 3. And so I was up tier 5, I was just cooking some tier 5s. And I just assumed that if you cleared a tier 5 map, it would count towards this bonus. Even though it doesn't show it, I just assumed, for no reason, other than me assuming, that if I was on the tier 1 part of this quest, saying you need to complete 10 tier 1 maps, and I completed a tier 3 map, that tier 3 would count towards the goal of completing 10 tier 3 maps by the time I got to the tier 3 goal. That, however, was not the case. So I was running a bunch of tier 4s, tier 5s, tier 3s when I needed to be running tier 1s. So I had to go all the way back through, run 10 tier 1s, 10 tier 2s, and now I am completely out of tier 3 maps. And getting those tier 3 maps is a nightmare. I am unable to sustain these points at all. And what I have on the Atlas, I only have like 3 points. Refund Atlas passives, and I'm getting them into the Waystones. 10% tier higher, 10% tier higher. Probably shouldn't have went that, but more monster packs. 10% tier higher. I probably should have grabbed this one instead of that one, but I couldn't get to there if I did that. Next one I get is going to be that one, and then I'm going to pop up here and then here just to get these 10% higher tiers, so that way when I need tier 3s, I can run tier 2s and I have a shot at getting them. Let's just run a tier 2 and let's try to get some tier 3 maps, and we will take a look at how my build is currently set up and what I'm running and all that jazz. I like to pump them up at least to yellow. I'm not using these for anything else now that I went Christmas shopping and got all my gear. The belt's pretty good. I forgot to show the belt and the boots. The belt and the boots are both pretty good. I mean, these are all sub like 5 exalted orbs. I didn't pay more than 5 exalted orbs for any of this. I just went a little shopping. Just a little shopping to power it up. The last build I was using was a 6-button build, and it was getting a little exhausting doing a 6-button build. So I've reduced the buttons a bit. I'm mostly just using Fireball, Firewall, and Frostwall to do like blunk, 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 blunk. Just like that, right? And in the setups for Fireball, we are looking at... I corrupted it and got a 4 link. Whoop, whoop. Anyways, we're looking at Scattershot, Wild Shards, Unleash, and I'm doing Arcane Tempo. Now, I should probably do something other than Arcane Tempo, but I really like the faster cast speed. And with this Unleash takes cast speed into consideration. Spells gain a seal every 200% of cast time, a maximum of 2 seals. When supported spells are unsealed when cast, and their effects reoccur for each seal lost. Supported skills deal 50% less damage when occurring. So with that extra cast speed, these seals build up faster, and it makes it a little smoother while mapping. So if I remove the cast speed, I'm not sure you'll even be able to notice, but the seals generate a little bit slower. Or at least that's what they say they're doing. But now that I see it, it looks completely identical. And that cast speed, not really that helpful. I probably ought to put something else in there, but I'm not going to. I'm going to keep the fast attack speed just because it's a little nice. Obviously, I'd do better with more damage, but the cast speed, it feels a little bit nice. And I think it keeps me a little more protected, because when I walk and cast, I could stay moving a little bit better, right? I never hold it down and repeatedly cast, because I don't have the mana for that jazz. But if I just do a walk and cast, it feels a little bit better with the extra. See, I'm just a little slower when I do this. So being just a hair faster is a little bit, cast speed's great, right? That's why I got the staff with 48% cast speed. Cast speed, in my opinion, is a lot better in POE 2 than it is in POE 1, even though it is good in POE 1. So those are my 4 links on my Fireball. My Flame Wall is just Fortress, Expanse. I like the cooldown on it, so that way they don't interfere with each other. Or I can put the Firewall down, and then I have less cost, because Firewall, I don't want to be spending my money on Firewall when I want to be spending my money on Fireball. I don't want all my mana going to Firewall when it be going to Fireball. Is it gonna... Yeah, anyways. But my Firewall damage is pretty low, as you can see. This guy is doing way more damage than my Fireball. but my fireball hits a bunch. And for frost wall, I'm only using 2. I could throw a third in there, but I just don't really know what to put in there. So I just have magnified effect and spell cascade. Actually, I'll just put a cooldowner in there. I usually only need to hit the frost wall once, so let's just go to gyms. Let's type in support, and let's see what cooldown ones we have. I really like the cooldown ones. Gives it a cooldown. More damage, nah. Critically hit, nah. More chance to inflict, yeah, let's do more chance to inflict ailments. I mean, I'm freezing people with the frost wall, so we might as well get the ailments going. Oh, why can't frost wall support that? Okay, well, Frostwall can't get it. That's probably exactly why. So let's just see if there's any cool cold skills here. More freeze buildup. There we go. That should work. There. Just so it has something else. So the build is, let's go to my skill tree, an elemental build. I have this pair of gloves here. It converts 33% of each ailment of elemental damage to an element. So my fireball is doing tri-elements. My fireball will shock, freeze, and ignite. It's doing a little bit more fire damage because my staff has increased fire damage on the staff. It would have been better if it was just straight spell damage, but the staff was cheap. So, you know, I picked it up. I'll upgrade in the future. But for now, it just has the fire damage. Ideally, that would be 100% spell damage instead of a 66-28 split. But what I'm doing is grabbing all of the elemental nodes, the universal elemental nodes. I can use any skill I want. And all the skills are going to do all 3 elemental types. And that means it's going to inflict ailments on all 3 types. So let's take a look at why I chose to do this. 1, I chose that because I found these gloves, right? I thought it'd be super interesting. 2, this is a new game and I can try out any skill I want. Obviously not going to try out any skill I want until I'm a little bit more comfortable with the game and I've progressed it a little bit farther. But until that point, you know, I can just use whatever I want. And I really like the idea of being able to pop any skill I want on here. If I want to start using ball lightning, I can start using ball lightning. If I want to start using frost orbs or whatever that frost bolt is, I can use that. I can use any skill I want, which makes it pretty dope. So let's look at some of the advantages you get in these universal elemental damages. 30% increased damage if you ignited an enemy recently. I'm igniting all the time, so that's just 30% increased damage. And then 30% increased damage, 30% increased damage. This will here, with the 3 bigs, is 90% increased damage with a splash of 10, 10, and 10. So we have 120 elemental damage just from this node over here. Now this bad boy up here is doing 15% increased damage for each type of elemental ailment on an enemy. Usually they have 3, so that's going to be 45% increased damage with some increased chance to ignite, frost, and shock, duration, and elemental damage. So that's a really good node too. As I level up, I am going to swing into here and also get these exposures. But right now I don't think I'm giving any exposures except maybe Flame Wall is doing some fire exposure. I got to figure out a way to get really good exposure, and then I'm going to grab that bad boy. I have good mana regeneration, so I just wanted to grab these 2 nodes. This is 8% reduced damage taken pretty much, which is pretty good in this game, right? 4% of damage, 4% of damage coming from mana before life. I'm always at mana eventually. I'm going to be doing mind over matter, and all the damage is going to be hitting my mana, but I am not quite ready for that just yet. I'm going to grab, actually I'm heading into these recoup wheels for the next one, just to get a little bit more recoup. And let's take a look, let's get these ones over here. 5% all elemental resistances is a lot stronger in POE 2 than it is in POE 1. I still am not resistance capped, even after I went special item shopping. I'm at 73, 53, and 49, but eventually I'm going to stop using this snake pit ring, and I'll be able to get my resistances from that ring, or I'll eventually stop using these gloves, and I'll be able to get my resistances back from these gloves. But these gloves already have resistance on them, so I'll probably be getting rid of the ring in order to stack up and cap out my resistances. But that ring is going to be a pretty pricey one because I'm also going to need some chaos resistance on that ring. Right now my chaos resistance is 32, so my chaos resistance is super low, so I'm going to want to buy a ring with cold, lightning, and chaos, and that's going to be a pricey ring. I don't have another jewel, so when I get another jewel, I'll slide that jewel in there. That jewel has a 3% cast speed. Oh, let's see if I can I exalt an ore on one of those? I don't know if I can exalt that. Nope, not rare. Not a rare. Wait, this is what turns it to a rare, so I have to... There we go. What did I get? 2% damage recouped his life. Okay, that's not bad. Can we... Chaos damage. Okay, that chaos damage is a bit of a dud. And by a bit of a dud, I mean it's a 100% dud. But I might be able to sell that for someone else. Either way, I got 2 free nodes. But when I get another jewel, I'll put that in there. It is a universal elemental damage. And over here, we have the same thing going on. We have 30% increased damage with hits against ignited, chilled, and frozen enemies. So over here, we have another 110 elemental damage. So we are stacking a boatload of elemental damage. And the pathing is kind of tight for it. It's a little rough to come all the way over here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 travel nodes. But these travel nodes all go into good stuff. My in-game build, I'm going to be using a giant two-hander for Hammer of the Gods. And I am a tiny mage, so I'm going to be getting that bad boy right here. But I got it. That's way later. That's way later in the game. And I'm working a full-time job, and this game does not respect my time. It is not respectful of my time. It is taking me like 30 minutes to do a map sometimes, and then I end up getting almost nothing in that map. And most of all, I get no maps to replace my maps. So the grind needs some work. The in-game grind needs some work. Combat feels great. The reason to do the combat, not there. I love the combat, but my reason to go into these maps to do the combat, I just ain't feeling it. I ain't feeling it. Like, I almost want to just put this whole game down, wait till they fix it up, and then play then, right? Because I'm beta testing their in-game flow right now, and I'm not getting paid to beta test. I grabbed this node because I wanted the 10 strength. Strength is life. Life is strength. So grabbing the 10 strength. And I have, extra fire damage on my staff. So I wanted to grab that. But if you are a full split, these nodes are also pretty cool. 6 pin is pretty good. And penetrating 15% cold resistance is pretty good. But you have to divide all of these by 3 when you think about it logistically. Because you're splitting all of your damage evenly into 3 elements, the 6 cold resistance is actually 2. So that's 2 cold pin. This is 2 cold pin, and this is whatever 15 divided by 3. It's going to have a little remainder on there. So, it's like 5. It's not going to have a remainder. It's exactly 5. It's a wake and bake morning. All right, guys. 3 times 5, that's really hard math, right? 15 divided by 3. I mean, who can do that in their head, right? Who can do that level of extreme mathematics in their noggin? Not me. But if you really wanted to, you can grab these bad boys. And these are really nice, too. Again, divide by 3, so that's going to be 6% increased fire damage. But that 30% increased chance to ignite, 30% increased buildup, and 30% increased chance to shock. These are really nice when you're doing triple damage. And it's very cost-effective to grab all 3. Now, when you're doing just a fire build, you're spending 2 points to get all of that bad boy. But when you're doing elemental, you're only grabbing 1 extra point to get 30 freeze buildup and 18% cold damage. That is really not that bad. So just picture this saying 6% increased cold damage and then 30% increased frost buildup, and it costing 1 point to get to. That wouldn't really be that bad because essentially it's almost like a travel node at this point. So I really like these 3 here. I'm grabbing that guy for the intelligence, this guy for the mana regeneration. I could probably spec right on out of this because actually I can't because I never have any money, because what I've been doing with my money is buying these tier 1s to try to roll them into tier 3s to finally get my 3 tier 3 as part of my quest. I still need 5 more of these tier 3s. I won't even be able to complete this today, I don't think. I got like 6 hours of gameplay in me today. I don't think I'll be able to get 5 tier 3 maps completed in 6 hours. Unless there's a way to buy the maps. I could not figure out a way to buy the maps. I think you have to hard farm all of these maps. And I really don't like when the map is like attempted and you go in, I'll clear this map, I will have completed the map, but it still says attempted until you run another map, and then it will say completed. So it won't turn green until you're like gone. So this one's kind of a lot of times the maps will have poison enemies, and the poison enemies have been spunking me, have been kicking my ass. So this map is probably some kind of poison-based map. But we are going to take a look at how my tri-split element build is working. I have the recoup nodes selected on the Chronomancer passive, primarily because I was testing it out with some mana, and I couldn't quite get enough mana and life recoup to make that recoup increase to 4 seconds instead of whatever it is base. I still don't know what recoup time is base. I think it's 8. It feels like 8. The recoup is extremely slow. My performance hit is massive. Why am I getting 60 frames per second? Give me just a second here. I was getting like 40 frames per second. I have to fix that, whatever's going on. Let me clear out these enemies because sometimes escape is not actually escape. Sometimes pause is not a pause in this game. Alright, I'm nice and protected. Oh yeah, see, poison. Poison enemies. Get out of here. I'm trying to change my settings. I need a constant 60 frames per second. Leave me alone. And let me pop some mana potions. Get out of here. Okay. Options. Game. See how it unpaused? Oh, no, there's still a guy hitting me. Okay, now I can pause. Let's see. Game graphics. We have no upscaling. 16. We don't need that to be 16. In fact, we're at 4K. We can do that to 2. There we go. Let's see if that keeps me at a solid 60. I think maybe it was a solid 60 when I wasn't streaming, and now that I'm recording. Oh, damn it. I'm recording in 4K again, too. I meant to downscale that because it takes forever to upload to YouTube with a raw 4K file. So I like to downscale it to 1080p because no one really gives a fuck if the gameplay is in 4K. I just did it for a couple of things. But I like the build. It's working pretty good. It's just constantly out of mana. The mana costs are just insane in this game. It's a constant battle for mana. And that's why I think they allowed Mind Over Matter to do 100% of mana. But the plan was, I'm just going to use Living Bomb for a few seconds. The plan was to get a skill that doesn't cost mana that I could cast on people for whenever Mind Over Matter has hit. So I get hit by a big hit, I can no longer cast any spells because I don't have any mana. So then I can just run around and cast these, because whenever you get a free skill in your weapon, whenever you get a skill in your weapon, the skill is free. And it looks like I need to wait for these to blow up. So I can't just keep pressing them. So that would work for Mind Over Matter, and that was the plan. But so far, I haven't liked any of the skills that come with the weapons. There's been none of them that I can use as like an in-game skill, or even a somewhat good enough skill to use for when you're out of mana. I have this one optimized for damage, and I can kill someone with it. It just takes a bit, right? It's not that great. So using Mind Over Matter is gonna be pretty tricky getting that whole thing done. But right now, let's take a look. Oh no, it's not gonna be paused, and there's chargers in this map. You see how I just froze them with that fireball? All right. Let's take a G look at my fireball skill. Total damage, it's doing 2,000. 1,000 of it's coming from fire, 500 from each other one. So you can see it's a pretty even split. The increased fire damage from the staff is really pumping up the fire, but I'm still getting the freezes and the ignites, which are really nice. Obviously, I can spec purely into fire, but I just don't think it's going to provide me the flexibility that I want to try out all of the weapons. And I mean, not all the weapons, all of the skills. Hell, all the weapons, too. If I get a weapon that does really good lightning damage, I could just swap right into that. No problems at all. If I get a really strong weapon that does like a combo of fire and lightning, a lot of times that could be pretty cheap. If you get a weapon that has plus fire damage and plus lightning damage, that could be pretty cheap. But the plus to levels is the big reason I'm using mostly fire skills right now. My old staff had plus 4 skills to all, plus 4 to all skills. And that was nice because they gave plus 4 to lightning, fire, and cold. So I was using triple elements, and that was pretty dope. Oh, I'm forgetting a whole aspect of this build. Let's get away from some of these enemies so I can, party. Yeah, poison maps are real rough for me. And mana flash basically don't work. I should just, anytime I want to use a mana flash, I should just pop all of them all at once. Alright, we are going to talk about a whole nother aspect. I'm lazy, right? We have elemental. Really, where the fuck did you come from? You asshole. Okay, I have elemental. Where the fuck did you come from? You asshole. I blew this whole fucking screen up. Elemental conflux. It is. Where the fuck did you come from? I blew this whole fucking screen up. Elemental conflux will give you 55% more damage with affected element, and it pivots and swings between the different elements. Now, this would be cool in multiple factors. There's a skill gem that will increase duration, which will give you a longer window to do damage of your damage type. Now, that's not so good because it also gives you a double long window to not do damage. Or you can reduce the duration to give you a shorter window, which would be really good for things like Unleash. But you can only use 1 Unleash, so this is kind of dumb for Unleash. Now, if you could do 3 Unleashes, like you're the Gem Boro and you can do 2, you can unleash your fire skills, and then when it pivots to cold, you can unleash your cold skills. And that way you're getting that full 55%. But what I'm doing is I'm just dividing that 55% into 3. Because I'm doing all 3 element types, this is always going to be a buff and a benefit. And I'm using 4 skeletons just to keep my life tapped off. I'm a big fan of this skill here, and I'm already in the area. I like these spell damage nodes, and I'm going over here, so it's just 3 points, and I get a permanent mana regeneration factory. I have 4 minions, and whenever they revive, I gain 2% of life, so that's 8% of life that's just constantly going at me. Now, I don't have a big regeneration time, so it's not that beneficial. It takes 6 or 5 seconds to get it. So every 8 seconds, I'm getting 8% of my life. So it's like a 1% of life regen thing, which normally is not very good. But in POE 2, 1% of life regen per second is not bad because you really don't got a lot of good regeneration options. Yeah, that here, me recording at 4K really is taking a chunk out of that. So let's just do a little bit of scaling at 77% to keep me at that. It's getting a little jerky. The 3090 is cooking. And you can see right now, fire conflux. So this is when I want to be outputting damage the most. So whenever that's up, I usually just unload my fireballs just non-stop. The other ones, increase damage for the other ones as well. But since I'm doing, 50% more fire damage than I am every other type, when I see the fire damage up, if I'm paying attention, like right now I'm just trying to save my mana until it gets to fire, and hopefully I can get to elite, but no elite around. Oh, I guess lightning is next. I must have missed the fire phase. Oh, there's an elite there, and it's going to go right into fire, and it's just a little too late. See, so if you're actually trying to use the elements, it's really difficult. But if you're just converting your damage to all 3 element types, that is something you can have up all the time. And it's like 20% more damage aura. Now, if there was an aura that said do 20% more damage, I'm pretty sure most people would just be running it. Even at 100 spirit, that's just a flat 20% more damage. There's very little reason not to run something like that. And by converting my elements to all elements, I am benefiting from it at all times. Sometimes a little bit more, like right now when I'm on that fire phase, but I'm still benefiting on the other ones. And this is pretty cool because I can freeze with Fireball, I can shock with Fireball, I can burn with Fireball, I can do everything with Fireball, and I really like the Fireball skill. Fireball has been pretty dope. Now what I've been thinking about doing is doing a little bit of multitasking. I want to open up one of these maps, sit in the map, and then do other things with my life until it finally goes off a cooldown and it shows me where all the elites are. These maps are too big and the rewards are too small. And rewards are basically non-existent for killing trash mobs. So I think the most effective way to farm these maps is going to be rare hunting, elite hunting. You find where the elite monsters are and you hunt just the elites. I am apparently way over leveled because I'm forced to do these lower tier maps. And so it looks like I'm a way better build than I probably actually am. But I still don't really know what a good build is in Path of Exile 2. I don't really watch streamers. I'm not watching any of the good players. I work. I hang out with the lady and some friends and shit. And then I play POE. Unfortunately, because I play POE and I have a life, I don't quite have the time to invest into learning exactly what it means to be best build in POE 2. So I'm just doing what I'm doing, and it's working well for me. I doubt it's like king of the builds type situation. Let's freeze this fucker. I do sometimes forget that I could just throw a frost wall on people and then hit them with the fireball, and it really puts down the damage. See, right now, I am full of shit, and the map is not done. I could go over here and I can explore the map a little bit more. I could explore up in here to finish it up. There's more than 50 monsters left, but I am not gonna. I'm just not gonna. Let's get rid of that and let's pick this up because I really don't want to. I'm not gonna get a damn thing by doing that. I'm not gonna get any loot. Not gonna get, there's no experience. I mean, it's dog shit for experience. So yeah, there's just not a lot of benefit of doing that. And if we take a look at this, I sell everything for cash, even if it's got a socket in it, because I am so strapped for cash. I need cash constantly, all day long. Cash, cash, cash. All I need is cash. 20,000. Now let's see what I have to do with this 20,000. Here's what I have to do. I get 4 tier 1s, which is gonna allow me to convert that to a tier 2, and I just ran a tier 2. It's not good. It is not good. Getting these maps, not good at all. Just a tier 2. Yeah, I don't like it. I love the combat, I love the difficulty, I love the game, but they don't have the end game. This is not good. Not good. So if I'm trying to get a tier 3 map, I can't. There's just not enough currency or gold in the maps to allow me to pump up a tier 3. Now I imagine some people have gotten over this problem. They got lucky. They got a map with a ton and it dropped just a ton of these waste stones. But because I started it out wrong and I just started running them, that's not me. And now I don't want to run this 4 and this 5 because eventually I'm going to need, as part of the goal, as part of the quest, I'm going to need those 4s and those 5s. And I can't run them early to count for this bonus, which I think is bogus. I think you should be able to run all of them at all times and it should count. But they're trying to create a progression and force more gameplay out of players. There is some bad predatory game design in here to try to extend players' game length, because what I think they don't want people to do is to log into Path of Exile during a new season, play for the weekend, and then log out, which is what a lot of people do. And I recommend most people do that. You find some friends, you log in for the weekend, you run through the campaign, you get to end game, you find your build, you flesh your build out, you beat all the content, and then you call it a day. You turn it off, you put it down, you play for about a week, and then wait for the next season. But I think GGG is a little agitated with that type of game mindset, and they're trying to force the game to be longer, and they're doing that in unfun ways. All right. Bonus damage, increased critical strike. We have a 200% waystone drop rate. So let's see if we can get some waystones on this tier 5 map. So you see how this says map in progress? There's no way that I'm aware of to clear out this map to get rid of that map in progress. And sometimes when you have a map in progress on a tower and you want to put something in the tower, you can't until you run another one next to it. So that's a bit awkward. So it looks like this is the next one that I need to run. So let's put that in here. Let's do some traversal. So this is a monster level 69 and I'm 74. So I should probably be doing tier 10s now, but I have no way of getting tier 10 maps. I will try to do a couple minutes of just straight combat without me talking, so you can see like what me on my peak is like without distraction. Maps are so slow. So devoid of things to do and enemies to fight. Yeah, it's not good. The combat's great. But right now I'm kind of over leveled, so it's mostly trivialized. I'll still get one shot randomly here and there, but if I play correctly, I just stay at a safe distance. Especially when I get my 20% slow back, but I can't respec any of my points because I need that gold to get tier 3 maps, right? And normally when I'm not recording, okay, another tier 5, but that doesn't help me. I need a tier 3. I'm not sure I even get tier 3 in a tier 5. But normally when I'm not recording, I'm picking up all the whites, all the blues, filling up my inventory, going back with cash, dropping off the cash to try to get to a tier 3 map. And I've had to do that for all 5 of the tier 3 maps that I have completed. All 5 of those maps I got by buying tier 1 maps and then upgrading them to tier 3, which has been a miserable experience. Absolutely miserable. I have not enjoyed doing that. It has not been fun. It has not been rewarding. But I have been having a lot of fun with the combat and playing the game in the AWSD. So it's not a huge bust. Okay, you have a task. When I'm playing the game, I have a hard time focusing on what Fork and Chain are doing from my snake ring. So I want you guys to pay attention while I'm playing, since you guys aren't playing and you have more focus. I want you to tell me what's better, Fork or Chain, on this situation, on my snake bite range. Die already and let me through the hole. Die and let me through the hole. Poison. And them darts, them poison darts, they hit a ton. God, the gameplay is good though. Am I right? They really got that engine down. And that's another thing. Like you can see, I kind of slowed down a bit, but it's kind of hard. I have a hard time keeping a good cadence, a good pacing. on because it's just so spread apart, and you don't have like a really good dash skill, and the one dash skill you have costs 60 spirit, which is too much spirit in my opinion for that thing to be beneficial. And it's a little awkward to use that dash when you use an AWSD, because you dash in the direction that your left hand is pointing at, not your mouse. Like if I want to dash over here, like up here, I can't, because I can only dash directly over, diagonally. There's 8 directions. 8 direction a dash. Whatever directions you can move with your AWSD is the only directions you can dash, which makes that that blink skill really hard to use with AWSD. At least use effectively. I end up killing myself more than it's a benefit. So that's another change they probably need to implement, is to make the blink skill always work with keyboard and mouse, unless you're using a controller. What's a double belt? Oh. Some of these belts are better than other. I'm still figuring out which belts I like. I think the belt I got is the one I like. Yeah. 20% of flash recovery is instant. I think that might be one of the best ones. Just because when I get into some trouble, I don't want my flask to be super slow to heal me up. Just bust it. Because busting makes me feel good. See this backtracking shit? No matter what I do, it feels like I'm running these maps poorly. I don't like how any of these maps are designed. I almost feel like they use... Because some of these maps are dynamic, they're using too much auto-generation and not enough handmade curation. I think they could hand curate a lot of... See, I got a tier 2, so I should be able to get a tier 3. They should be able to hand curate a lot of these maps and auto-generate some. So it'd just be better if there was a higher hand curated list of some that were, you know, a little quicker. Maybe not make every map feel the same. Because to me, every map kind of feels the same. They all kind of have the same speed, the same flow. They're all a little bit slow. I'm going to keep these maps to see what kind of maps I find in a 200% increase map drop map. The wands are expensive, I think. I might as well pick that up too. Alright, you guys been paying attention to fork? I'm about to switch it to chain. So hopefully you guys have all been paying attention, because I sure as fuck have not. I have not been paying attention, because I can't. I do not have that ability to long-term focus on something like that. So now we are on chain. We are chaining with these fireballs. And I feel like chaining doesn't chain unless there's an enemy to chain to, which makes fork better. Fork always forks, which is always creating 2 additional fireballs, and fireballs explode because of AoE, so you're getting 2 additional chances to do damage. Oh, we got a tough boy with that mana bullshit. I will play this as safe as I can play this, buddy. Another tier 2. I am completely map cucked. Got that cuck chair, and I'm just sitting in that cuck chair. I have to watch other people run maps, because they ain't gonna give me none. And it's not that enjoyable. In fact, the best thing I could probably do is just turn the game off until they fix the in-game flow, because the in-game flow is not great. It is not very good, which sucks, because I love this combat. I'm really struggling with this game in the sense that I don't think I can play Path of Exile 1 anymore. You know what I mean? After playing this with the AWSD and just how good I can control my character and the way the combat goes, Like, if I try really hard, I can glass cannon a T-15 simply because I don't get hit. Now, I can't do that 100% of the time. I'm going to fail some of them, but I will be able to clear a T-15. I'm almost positive, simply by being mechanically superior to my enemies. Especially when I get that 20% slow from the Chronomancer back. But as, you know, I've been complaining about, I can't afford the refunds to do that because I got to try to pump up tier 1s into tier 2s to get a tier 3, and I'm just dreading tier 4. I can't even imagine the amount of hours people... There we go. I got one tier 3. That's excellent. That is so fucking good. So happy over that that drop right there. So fucking happy over that drop. But I gotta imagine that the people that are like in-game have fucking no life this shit. Like 18 hours a day, and it has probably been a bit of a hassle, a bit of a toll on them. They're probably not very happy because I can't imagine putting, you know, 16 hours a day into this game, having to do what I'm doing right now. After about 3 hours, I'm kind of done. And don't get me wrong, I'm having fun for the 3 hours, but after that 3 hours, the fun's kind of gone for me. Just trying to slowly inch my way to more power, to more progress. It's too slow. Let's go ahead and fill up my inventory with some loot before I head back. Oh, that's close enough. There's already a portal here. Let's see if I can get a second after I sell these items. I need a big bonker. I haven't even begun to craft melee weapons. I have no clue how that's gonna go. Oh, let's buy that back. Oh, no, it's pure strength. Can't use it. 30 spirit. Alright. This is what we got in a 200% increased map drop. And that is actually probably the best one I've ever run. So you guys got to see, this is the most lucrative waystone finding map that I've ever done. I'm going to do one more tier 3 and then we can call it a day. And you know what? You guys don't give a shit about this tier 3, so you guys can all drop off. I'm just going to run a tier 3 real quick, and if you're interested, actually, you know what? I gotta take a shit. I gotta take a shit. So this video is done. Let's go a quick recap of what I've done in this build. We have elemental damage, elemental damage, elemental damage, elemental damage, elemental damage, and that's about it. Just run through, grab elemental damage. It's super weird not grabbing life nodes or defensive nodes because there really isn't any life nodes or defensive nodes. The only defensive nodes I've grabbed are these ones. And I'm over here complaining about mana, but the only mana regen I have is really this one little pipeline here. So I shouldn't complain too much. But I do have a bit of mana regen, 21% there, 55% there. So I do have a bit of mana regen there. But it's just a little slower than I'd like. Like if I hold down Fireball, I am done with mana real quick. Real quick. And it's going up fast, but this Fireball costs 309 fucking mana to cast, and that's just bonkers. That's just bonkers. Yeah. That is what I was doing with my skill tree. The fireball, I'm doing a scatter shot, wild shards, unleash, and arcane tempo. Now, I feel the only two that are really needed to make this thing pop off is the scatter shot and the wild shards. Not so much the unleash. So if we take off this unleash and we take off this arcane tempo, it should reduce the cost only 100. Jeez. But if you run it this way, you can still just this way you want to just kind of hold it and run. And you'll still pop off every now and then, but it's just not as big or as hard as you otherwise would have. And I realized that I should have run that other map because we didn't get a lot of time to see what the Pierce versus Fork, Chain versus Fork. But you guys just, if it's a clear answer and people know this answer, feel free to let me know. I'm leaning towards Fork, so I'm going to put it back towards Fork. Fork feels better to me because you get extra projectiles pretty much every time you hit an enemy. Where chain, the enemy has to be nearby for it to chain over to it. I don't even know. I don't even know. Let's take a look at the gear again. I'm just going to highlight over one of these. You guys can read it all yourself, but I'll just give you a little bit of time to take a look at what I'm doing. I think it's pretty good gear. I think I am geared up enough to where I should be able to save all of my currency from this point out. The only thing I want to maybe upgrade is this chest piece, because there's a lot of chest pieces out there, and I need more resistances, and I don't really need that life. Life is obviously good, but it's not needed as much as the resistances. So I think I might try to replace this, but it's really hard getting that spirit, that high spirit, which is so required because I only have one leftover spirit. But the spirit's not that required because I can always just drop a skelly if I need to do a little bit less. Like if I drop all these skeletons, I can even squeeze in a cast on something build. But I think the cast on a knight, the cast on freeze, and the cast on everything else, I think those are cooked. Those are never going to be usable. Those are just done forever. And the cast on minion death is pretty much the only one that works for me, but I don't have enough spirit to use that. I probably ought to get rid of a staff and go shield and get a really high spirit shield, so that way I can use cast on death and use comet, because comet is fucking amazing with these gloves and doing what I'm doing. Comet hits so fucking hard that the ailments that comet, you know what? I'm gonna put comet on, and we're gonna hard cast comet. So you can see comet hitting with multiple elements. So let's go skill and comet. We got a comet spell. Oh my fucking god. Inventory. There we go. Let's put comet in here. I've been running pretty lean and leaving as much of this open because I was getting so dirty. I was getting so messy with the skills. I'd like always full of skills and all my supports were in there. It's, to me, this is much harder to manage than the old way. I have not been able to get used to it because right now I want to be able to like tell what's going to work good with Comet. And now I got to go into here. I go to these supports and I can't do something like type Comet unless there's a way. So now I have to go through and I have to highlight each of these to find out which ones work for Comet. Maybe it would be completely different if I understood and I had all these memorized and I knew which ones do which. So what I've been doing is going to these uncuts. And I've been clicking this because now I can click on Comet and go to all gems and then Comet. Oh, there we go. And this will tell me all the gems and what works and what doesn't work or what I already have. And this is working pretty good. So let's see if there's any ailments. 8-second cooldown, but more chance to inflict ailments. Yeah, let's do that. So what? Ixorate. But now I don't want to buy it, so I have to go to support. X. Am I already using that? Strip away, impending doom, cold exposure, extraction. There it is. X-E-rate. I just can't spell. That's what it is. And now I gotta go all the way through here, put it on, go back into the inventory, find another gem. So we have a cooldown on it. Yeah, and we're gonna want some damage. So let's see, spell. Encumber, no. Sure, let's do some extra extra chaos. I don't have nothing to pump that up. And chaos damage is gonna be dog shit, but it might allow me. Oh, spell echo. That's gonna be a given. And I think I need one more. Elemental discharge, more damage with hits. Cannot deal critical strikes. I mean, I don't have any critical strike damage. Let's just do that. Though I do like the fact because Comet has a big crit chance, 13%. So this does hurt me pretty severely. And let's see what Comet is going to look like. Let's put Comet on spacebar. And 2 big hits. So we are going to be hard casting Comet on some bitches. That is what we are going to be doing. Let's go to big boy. Got my 2. I did get another 3 there. I did get another 3, which is great. So now I'll be able to run another one. But I still don't think I'll be able to complete 5 tier 3s. See this map in progress? I think that's one I just did. I wish it would say clear already. Oh, I want to pump that up a little bit more. Pump it up. Pump it up. 200% waystone drop rate. 92% increased gold found in the area. Fuck yes. Yes, 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 yes. Skibbity, yes. And I always have a hard time remembering how to put the map in. This end game, I think it needs a little bit UI tweaks. I think the gyms need a little bit of UI tweaks. Oh, things are just feeling a little bit weird for me. A little bit on the weird side. Maybe it doesn't feel weird at all to people who didn't play Path of Exile 1 as much as I've played Path of Exile 1. But it just feels a little bit weird. Alright, let's find an elite and let's drop a Comet. What? I'm hitting spacebar. God, that Comet's hard cast is so slow. Whatever that blood pool was. And poison all over the ground. Ah, I wish it would have got rid of that. It's so unenjoyable to have this fucking bullshit all over the ground all the time. At least I can control my character better now. Oh, that's totally a secret. Let me in there. Yeah, I need to find an elite, and I want to hit an elite with that. So I'm pretty sure the elite is just going to instantly freeze from that bad boy. I'm trying to keep my mana up. Find an elite. There's... Oh, that's just a rare. Come on. Why didn't you cast your Comet? Oh, you can also, like... cancel the animation super easy with Comet, so I just canceled the animation. Unwillingly, unknowingly canceled the animation. I wonder if there's a way to turn off the animation canceling to lock you into death if anyone's gonna be there. Alright, you're being a dick. I'll hard cast Comet on your face. Where are your elite brethren? Not enough mana. I had to turn the voices down because that's all she screams. Not enough mana. Not enough mana. Not enough mana. Not enough mana. Did you know that you don't have enough mana? That if you tried to cast a spell, you could not do it because you don't have enough mana. Not enough mana. Over and over and over again. Meaty little bitch the Chronomancer is. See, I'm out of potions. That's where the skeletons come in handy. They gonna give me my life back. While I charge up my potions. Don't mind me just running in poison. Because that's totally a fun game mechanic. No one is ever thinking about what makes Elden Ring good or Dark Souls good. You know what really makes Dark Souls good? Blighttown. If it wasn't for Blighttown, Dark Souls would suck. If it wasn't for petrification, Dark Souls would suck. Nah, no one's thinking that. And sure, you don't always have to get the fans what they want. You just have to give me what I want. And what I want is 0 on-ground effects. I want to be able to walk around and not have to focus on where the fuck I'm standing at all times. Get commented, boys.
Not enough mana. Not enough mana.
You can see I'm mad at the game. I am mad at her for running out of mana over and over and over again. And if I made this game, I would troll the players. I mean, obviously, this whole thing is a troll to the players, right? They're punishing us because they know we're all sadistic bastards who are just gonna play this game forever, regardless of how much it's torturing us with this slow fucking grind that they've made. Oh shit! We should have known all along. It's grinding gear games. When you play their games, all you're doing is grinding your gears and you're not making any progress. They told us from the very beginning who they were. They are people that are making you grind your gears, trying to get gear, trying to get loot, trying to make progress. And when you're grinding your gears are not grabbing. You are not making progress. All your gears are slipping. I still haven't seen a single elite. I'm sure there's been one and I've killed it, but I keep seeing these blues. I wanna hit an elite real good. Because on my skill tree, I have... It is definitely not paused for that skill tree. And I have these zombies coming up. I have these nodes selected on the skill tree. These guys. 24% increased damage with hits and ailments by enemies affected by elemental ailments. 30% increased chance to inflict elemental ailments against rares and unique enemies. And then all these bad boys are going to increase your chance to inflict ailments. And it's universal ailments, so that applies to cold, lightning, and fire. So this is pretty much 30% increased ailments if you were to combine them all together, because it's tan, and tan. So I really like this node as well, but I might path out. But this feels like it's a lot of damage for bosses, and it just does a lot of good when I'm pairing it with these gloves that I have, just as a reminder, that are splitting the damage. Okay. Let's find an elite, hit him with the comet. I want to hit an elite with the comet. Big ol' fat hard casted comet. No elite, no elite, no elite. God, I missed my 20% slow. I might be able to afford it now, but I want those tier 3 maps. No, I won't be able to afford it, so I'm just gonna have to stick with my recoup. Yeah, like if one of my friends texts me right now, he's like, "Hey, you want to come hang out?" I'd probably say yes, and I shouldn't be saying yes. Path of Exile 2 early access. This is weekend 2 for me, and this is the second day I've had. Well, I mean, I had a bunch of other errands to run, but this is like one of the first times I've had where I didn't have to go to work and do a bunch of shit, and then I just get to play the game all day long. And I should be way more excited than I actually am. And I think that's the biggest... Oh, there's an elite. Let's hit this bitch with the comet. I missed. Here. Hang out. Oh, he's cold resistant. I mean, it doesn't matter. My element's tripled. That's another reason the element... What the fuck? Are you bugged? Did you dodge my comet? Here, let's put some frost walls on you so you can't dodge my comet. I think he dodged my comet. Or it didn't hit him for some reason. Can they dodge spells? Oh, that's gonna be brutal if they can dodge spells. Oh, we got a gold guy. Look at that gold skull. I think it's a boss. It is a boss. What's up, boss? Oh, that comment didn't do shit. What the fuck did I just get hit with? And then if you're on a tier 3 map, oh, that's what makes it even so much worse. I was on a tier 3 map. This was a tier 3 map, wasn't it? And I just fucking died, so I didn't complete this map. And I don't even know how the fuck I died. I didn't see what that dude hit me with. I was just walking, and all of a sudden I'm fucking dead. And I still can't believe that it's Path of Exile 2, and GGG doesn't have a thing that says, you were killed by blah, blah, blah. You were killed by this fuckhead's circle spell that hits you instantly and is undodgeable. That's what it should say. It should say, what killed me? When you're playing League of Legends and you die in League of Legends from CC, you know what it fucking shows you? It says, you had 18 seconds of CC on you. It says how long you were CC'd at the time of your death and what motherfucker did it. So you can go back and kill that son of a bitch. This should tell me right now on this you have died screen how the fuck I died. Because I just saw me die, but I didn't see what killed me. Obviously, it's whatever this fucking glow, unless that glow is my aura. And that right there, that death cost me at least an hour. And more realistically, that death just cost me 2 hours of gameplay. Because now I wasted a tier 3 map. Obviously, I need to look at what has a boss, and so now I have to let's just do it right now. I only salvaged the double slaughters, right? Identify items, buy or sell. I didn't even pick up enough loot to sell. All right, we got that sold out. Put these bitches in here. And let us buy some tier 1s. I only got 5 tier 1s out of that. Combine them tier 1s. Get these tier 2s. Let's do some combining with my reforging bench. 1, 2, 3, reforge. 1, 2, 3, reforge. 1, 2, 3, reforge. So now I have 2 more tier 3 maps. I'm not gonna do them on a boss map. And it's not fun. It's not fun to have to spend all of my gold to make these fucking maps. Yeah, I'm not digging it. I'm not digging it. I'm not having the best of time with Path of Exile 2's in-game mechanics. With the in-game of Path of Exile 2, I am not having the best time. I should be, but I am not. And I feel that's a pretty big problem for GGG. Like, they implemented their idea very successfully. This is as cliche it is, the Dark Souls of ARPGs. But Path of Exile 1 was kind of the Dark Souls of ARPGs. So it's just kind of proceeding along that path. But there isn't good bossing while mapping. These are just kind of, well, I guess that was kind of a good boss. It just fucking killed me, except for the fact it just fucking killed me and I didn't see how it killed me. But anyways, you're not getting the same highs. It's like all the lows of Elden Ring. Imagine if you ran through like one of the nastiest Elden Ring dungeons and you get to the end and all that's there is a teleportation to another giant dungeon that when you get to the end of that, it's a teleportation to another giant dungeon and there's no big payoff. In these maps that I've been running, I'm not getting loot. I'm not getting enough loot to make it worth it. I'm spending way too much time running between packs, running around, getting lost in the map, and then by the time I get to the boss, sometimes it'll kill me in a way I don't even fucking see, and it's rough. I'm having a rough time with the end game of POE 2. and I might bounce out. I'm gonna play for the rest of the day. I have the whole day allocated. If in 6 hours I cannot complete, this whole UI is pretty scuffed too. If I cannot complete fucking 4 more tier 3 maps in 6 hours, that would be, you know, like an hour and 20 minutes a map. I am bouncing out. And that should be pretty easy because I have 2 tier 3s and I'm not going to run it on a boss map. Here, let's take a look at what I just died on. I died on this one. I guess, how do I tell if there's a boss there? What's the little spaghetti things? Like, why don't you tell me what this is? Why would you put it on there? And is there like a fucking legend? Wait, what's up here? Atlas controls? No. Information? What the fuck does the squiggly red... Okay, in-game. Information. Okay, there we go. Corruption. Contains corruption, which may add an additional modifier to the area. Additionally, the area has +1 to monster level. Corrupted areas cause slain monsters to coalesce corruption to manifest powerful monsters. Oh, that's fucking dope. But why was there a boss in there? Is that the one I failed on, or is this the one I failed on? Oh, I think this is the one I failed on because I'm standing there. But there was no boss on that one. I don't know. What I'm trying to say is I don't want to redo that map I just failed on. I think it was this one. Because that boss is fucking bastard. And I don't like bosses that shoot and kill me in a way that I couldn't see, that I couldn't dodge. So, you know, I just kind of want to... I really want to... What I really want to do is just complete my quest. I just want to complete tier 3 maps and get done. But the problem is I can't just run regular white tier 3 maps because I also need to generate tier 3 maps. I mean, I guess GGG caused a really intricate problem that you have to solve. It's just like a problem you don't want to solve. Like, it's like doing calculus matrices, you know? You don't want to do that shit. You're way past college. You don't want to fucking be doing that bullshit. Anyways, I'm just ranting and rambling. I'm over. I'm done. Video over. You guys check it later. This is going to be 4K. It's going to take like 2 days to upload.